All right. Got another opportunity here at home this week. Excited about that. Homecoming is always a big deal here on campus, and a lot of fun to see all the festivities that goes into it with our students. And I know there'll be a lot of people coming back to campus. Night game. So again, we don't get many of these days. So just every opportunity we get in the Valley is special. I mean, it really is. And just really appreciate our fans and how they've supported us, these last couple ball games, 2 sellouts, and, looking forward to a great environment and great crowd again Saturday night to welcome a good team in here. It's another undefeated team within our league. So that's 2 weeks in a row we're playing a team that hadn't lost in the conference. So another great opportunity for us to continue to build momentum in our season, especially within our league. So good football team. This is a well-coached team. That's the biggest thing I can say in watching them on both sides of the ball. This is the number one reason I know how well coached they are is because they play hard. They play hard with great effort on both sides, all 3 phases, and that to me is a reflection of the respect for the coaching that they're getting. I mean, these kids, they're smart, they're fundamentally sound, but they compete their tails off from the first play to the last play, and that's a reflection of their respect for where they are, their coaches, those type of things. And so it's a team that's they're gonna compete their butts off, and so we've got to match the type of energy and effort that they play with for sure. For them offensively, got a lot of experience up front. It's all about the quarterback. I mean, this kid, he's local here down in Georgia, and very good player. He is one of the better athletes that we're going to see that plays quarterback throughout the year. This kid can run, he can throw. He is, and they do a great job schematically with him. I mean, it's every type of quarterback run that you can design to go along with 3 really good backs. 25, 20, and 26. They're all really good players. 5 hit a big one off the quarterback power read against Syracuse. 20 is a load. He's a young player. You can just see his confidence growing, getting better and better. But it's all about this quarterback. This kid makes him go, man. I mean, he's got some weapons outside. Really, really impressed with all their receivers. Number 13 that's a superstar. He is a great football player. And tight end's a very good player. But just a really good collection of skilled players. They know what they're doing. And again, schematically, they do a great job of really utilizing the gifts of this quarterback. He can move. He can extend plays. Again, they're gonna run him, and then they're gonna boot him all day to try to create some space and create more time for some explosives down the field, and then also create opportunity for him to scramble if something's not there, because he can make a guy miss in space in a heartbeat. So they're going to create some space for him and change the launch point, many times. So really impressive, when you watch these guys and what they're doing. So it's going to be very important for us, obviously, to win up front, but to be very disciplined in how we rush this guy. We got to be very, very disciplined. We got to do a great job on the screen game, and then we got to cover him. So because again, you can't let him sit there and hold the ball. So a lot of challenges that they present. Again, overall, a team that's playing with a lot of confidence. And then on the flip side, defensively, same thing. They're stout up front. They play really hard. They move around a lot. They've shown a good bit of 3 and 4 down, and so. It'd be interesting to see how they're going to play us, and then we've got to do a great job, just like we did last week, in IDing these guys and making sure we're all on the same page. But man, I mean, these guys play. They don't let up. They play from the opening snap to the last play with the same type of effort and intensity. And again, that's something as a coach that you notice. that really jumps out at you. So it's a good football team. Again, they're 3-1 with a lot of confidence coming in here. Tough loss to TCU in a hard-fought game. Could have gone either way. So, but undefeated in our league. So it's a lot at stake. A big opportunity for both teams, and looking forward to the challenge. Got good returners. I think punt returners averaging about 18 something a return. So they present some problems in all three phases, and looking forward to the challenge. Met Coach Taylor just first time I met him was at the meetings. So other than Zoom calls and all that stuff, he's got a great background, a great track record, and obviously a new opponent for us that we haven't competed in, but excited to welcome Stanford into the league and have a great competition Saturday night.
Hey, Deb, I believe this is just the second time in history that a team from the West Coast has come to Clemson. Does it seem weird playing Stanford in Death Valley? Does that seem kind of weird to you?
Yeah. Is it really just the second time?
Yeah.
Well, who was the other one?
Long Beach State.
Long Beach State. Was that like Chuck Long? Where'd he play?
Iowa.
Oh, well, who am I? I don't know who I'm thinking of. Somewhere out there, Long Beach State. Did he coach there? Maybe I don't know. Anyway, so Long Beach State. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, one of my great friends in this business is David Shaw. So I've got to reach out to him this week, and that would have been pretty cool. Back in the day, we used to talk about that all the time. Hey, maybe we'll meet up somewhere down the road. And our wives would go, no, we don't want to. We don't want that. But here we are. So playing. There's a lot of that's the newness of this era of college football. There's going to be a lot of matchups that everybody loved traditionally that you may not see as often, but there'll be some new matchups like this that you'll say, okay, well that's going to be interesting. So this is a true East Coast West Coast matchup.
The guy that you were talking about, 13, Ayomanor, watching him against Syracuse, uses his body to shield defensive backs, kind of can get a little wiggle in there. Sunday guy.
Oh, no question. Oh, yeah, he's got great ball skills. I mean, he knows how to use his body. He's got great influence in his route running. He's elite at his break points and his separation techniques. He's got great drive off the ball. He's got really good body control. I mean, he's a really good player. He's a finisher. He makes contested catches. I think he made a one-handed catch they ran the little stalk and go and in the end zone there, and I don't even think he had to one-hand it. He just went up and one-handed it. So he's a very good player. You better know where he is at all times, and so very impressed with him. But again, I mean, 24, 83, 86, 84. I mean, all them guys, they're all good players, and then their backs are. It's a good offense. They do a nice job, and they know what they're doing. They're well coached.
They're really good at stopping the run. Is that because they devote numbers to it, or are they just playing sort of base and still stop?
They mix it up. I mean, they do a lot. They do a lot on defense. I think that will be the key for us early on is really, like I said, not just IDing them up front, but doing a good job of IDing how they're going to play us on the back end. But yeah, I mean, I think nobody wants to line up and let people run the ball on you. So I mean, they're going to do what they got to do to try to stop the run. And and if what you're trying to do isn't working, then you got to do something else, and that creates opportunities in other areas. So that's the cat and mouse game of football. But it starts with they're freaking tough up front. I mean, these guys are thick and strong, and they know how to play. They know how to penetrate, and they move around. So they create some. There's a lot of guys. If you really watch them, they got a lot of unblocked dudes, where they've just created some confusion or miscommunication up front, and guys are popping open. And then I mean they got some twitchy guys too. That number 14, number 23 coming off the edge, 11. Those guys are really good players. They got some speed, and so it's a good group up front.
Injury-wise, how are Peter and Tyler progressing right now?
They're doing well. They're still day to day, but they're doing well, getting better every day.
I think Peter, just in the availability report that we got pregame, Peter was listed as out for sure, and Tyler wasn't on that. Was he maybe closer?
Yeah, he was close. Yep. I think he did pregame, and we're just kind of seeing where he was, and it was good for him to get out there, but he wasn't quite ready, and Peter we knew wasn't going to be available for that one based on where he is. So again, just still day to day, and hopefully he'll be ready to go this week.
Dabo, with the offensive performances from the past 2 wins, is it more about sustaining that level of explosiveness this weekend, or is there something you still want to unlock with this team?
You don't get to carry any touchdowns over, so you got to start over every week, and so it's just really more just creating consistency in our performance. That's really it. That's the next step for these guys, and it was good to see that last week. Against a really tough defense, a team that really prides themselves on defense, and to play like we did. It just says a lot about our guys, where they are mentally, their preparation, their confidence, their really command of what we're asking them to do. Starting with our quarterback. He's playing really well. So it's just about you're not going to score 59 points every game. You want consistent execution. Consistency and not doing the things that beat yourself. Stupid penalties, lining up wrong, not making the layups, inconsistent in making routine plays. And so that's the main thing that we've been doing. We're making the routine plays. We're not having those really dumb penalties. We're taking care of the ball. We've won the turnover margin 2 games in a row, making quarterback, again, continuing to just play with the command that we need him to play. We're not going to be perfect, but we just need consistency. Because if we can create that and continue that, then it's a 3-phase game. You put it all together, you got a chance to be a good football team and have a good year.
Coach, how does your preparation change when you're facing a team that you don't really have a history with versus a team like NC State or someone else that you played year after year?
It doesn't change. It's just still football. It doesn't matter who you play. You play teams, logos every year, but the players change. Now you may have a little more familiarity with just maybe their coaches, the scheme that they play, and those type of things. You got a little bit more familiarity there, but that's what you prepare all week for. At this point, it'd be different if it was an opener or something, but this is. They're 3-1. They've played 4 games, so we've got some tape that we can study, on who they are this year, and everybody's got some tape, and you start to get a little bit of an identity with each team. So it's just football. You just prepare for what they do, but it still always comes back to you and how you prepare and how you go and execute, how you adjust, and winning your matchups. Blocking, tackling, throwing, catching, it's the same.
What did Saturday's film show about the continued growth of this offensive line?
We've played 3 games. They haven't given up a sack. They really, that's a group that creates a lot of challenges that we just played, schematically, and how they ID'd, how we blocked them. Maffa averaged 15-something a carry. We had about 8.2 a carry, almost 8 yards a play. It's just great preparation, great physicality. They're really together up front. And again, we've got some, as we felt coming in, we've got some pretty good functional depth there. We didn't have Tate the other game. Sadler, we didn't miss a beat. We didn't have Sadler this game. Tate's back in. We've got some. You got Harris, we got Trent back, so we've got some guys that can do some stuff for us, and we're developing a couple other guys. So again, hopefully we can just have some good fortune and stay healthy. And if we do, those guys will give us a chance every week. That's a really good group. They take a lot of pride in what they do, and they're just guys that have developed. Progress is. You're just seeing the work that they've put in. And gotten better and better. Blake's a 3rd-year starter. Tristan is a redshirt junior. Linthicum's a redshirt junior. These guys take a lot of pride in what they do. Parks is a 5th-year guy. Been around here, a lot of battles. We got some grizzled-up dudes So it's they've made good progress each week, and again, we're starting to put it all together in all areas, and our quarterbacks, continuing to just progress, and he'll continue to play at the level he's playing, decision making wise, and being opportunistic with his legs, and just driving the car. We'll have a chance each week.
Kind of broke down that play where Phil scored against App State. Same thing on Cade's run Saturday, that everybody got hatted up. But do you feel like watching Troy Stellato in that play, taking his guy out,
Yep.
do you feel like the wide receivers are blocking better this season downfield than they have?
Yeah, no question. Yeah, they're doing a great job, and they're that particular play it wasn't actually Troy's man. That was an MDM situation. He did a great job of MDM, most dangerous man, and covered that guy up at the point of attack. But it was really blocking. It starts with a decision by Cade. It's not just a quarterback run. It's making the right decision, and then it's running it properly. And that's progress. Similar, different play, but similar. You still got to get inside the kick out and all that stuff. Something he didn't do in our first game, which should have been a touchdown. And you see now how it's just kind of slowed down for him, and he's just becoming a better runner. He's becoming better with the timing and the patience of what he needs to do when he does run it, on how to use his blockers and set them up. He did a great job, and then he pressed Stellado's block, and Troy covered him, and then he just ran away from everybody. He's really fast in the open field. So, it's just, good execution. It's really good execution. Everybody winning their matchup. But the receivers done a great job. The big touchdown, Adam had a great, man-to-man runoff. Wesco had a great man-to-man runoff. Those guys are taking a lot of pride. But that's what I always tell them. The big plays in the run game come from guys straining downfield. Big plays. You can get some good plays. We had another play in the game that should have been a bigger play. It was a good play. It was Jahiem. It was a great play, but we had a receiver, a young guy kind of coming off, looking in and telling everybody that it's not a pass, telling everybody, hey, it's run. And so his guy gets an early tell, and he comes and he makes the hit on the running back, as opposed to if we're blowing and going and not giving an early tell, we cover that guy up, and that play might go 40, 50 yards. So it's a good play, 15-yard gain or something like that. So, but big plays in the run game come from strain by the receivers and the tight ends. That's where the big plays come from, especially when you're playing against man coverage. Because if you're playing against man coverage and you're really working like you need to work, and you get eyes away from the ball and things like that, you can create some big plays if you clear that first level.
Yeah, but how's Collin Sadler's calf, and also Wesco and Capehart, how they doing?
Yeah, all getting better. Collin is going to be day to day, and Wesco is back. He's practicing. He was just a little sore. Probably if we'd had to have him, could have put him back in the game. But we just held him out, and then Cape's getting better every day too.
Coach, being able to hop out to an early lead these past two games and start mixing in some of the younger players that might not be running with the ones just yet, how beneficial is that to you guys as a team to get those younger guys some live game reps as you head into the thick of conference play?
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. It's frustrating too, because you want to continue to play at a high level, and all of a sudden you're doing some things that shows why they are the backups, or just their lack of experience, and so that, but it's a great opportunity to be able to develop your team. To play as many guys as we've played in these first three games, that's a blessing for us, because we're getting a chance to really coach these guys, like they're starters. We're getting to coach them. We've got a lot of tape on them, and so hopefully that'll be beneficial to us, down the road, because there'll be a few guys that we're really going to need. And some of those guys are really taking advantage of the opportunity, and some others, again, are getting exposed in what they can do, what they can't do, what they don't know, so it gives you a chance to really teach these guys and create a higher level of accountability for them being ready. because you don't ever know when your opportunity is going to come. So you got to be ready. And so it's been good. I mean, that's been a real positive for sure to be able to play so many guys.
Just watching the broadcast, there was a lot of happy moments between you and Garrett. Obviously, when you're scoring a lot of points, just him as a coach, how good does it feel to see him finally have some success? And how do you feel like he handled some of the struggles when you guys were not?
That's great. I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, last year we missed a lot of opportunities. We had some. It was frustrating to not, because again, we see things differently than when this is what you do every single day than maybe just the person on the outside looking in. And we know our players, and we know how close we've been on some things. So it's fun to see them put it together. It's fun to see them take the next step. But we saw this in the spring. We saw this in the spring. We saw this in the summer. We saw this in fall camp. So it's just great for it to come to fruition and to see so many guys being involved, so many guys that can really play, and not having to kind of patch some things together. We've been fortunate to this point, and hopefully we can continue to have a little luck with a couple key spots. But I mean, it's been great. I mean, and that's what you should get better. And we've taken another step, but again, now it's about just really developing the consistency week in and week out. I wish I could say we're going to score 60 points every game, but that'd be great. Sign me up for that. But I just want to see us be consistent, continue to play with the type of effort, the type of details. Again, consistently make the routine plays. Playmakers continue to make some great plays and be able to run the football. We can run the football the way we're running the football, good stuff's going to happen. And then our quarterback just really playing at a high level from a decision-making standpoint. He's playing with a lot of confidence. So just want to continue to nurture that, and that'll give us a chance every single week, because I think defensively we're going to continue to get better. That first group's pretty good, and we'll keep getting better.
How did Garrett kind of keep that buy-in there? I mean, when obviously you're not scoring a ton of points last year, I mean, what was it about him as a leader of the offense that allowed?
Again, we see it. I mean, it's just coaching. I mean, again, we saw progress, even though sometimes maybe other people, it's not always what you see. Progress isn't always what you see. Sometimes it's kind of unseen, but you see it coming. Like, and the way we finished the season last year was a huge step forward for us, and you could see the guys kind of coming on and the belief that was coming, and we just built on it. But I mean, it's just coaching. Sometimes you got a young quarterback that's getting the first year, and there's going to be there's always growing pains. Not everybody's going to walk in and day one be this amazing quarterback at this level, and same thing at the next level. I mean, sometimes, but if that's the standard, you're gonna fire a lot of quarterbacks quick. So it's just sometimes you just got to be patient, especially when you know that you got a really talented player and you see the work that's being put in.
Knowing what you've known all along about your team and what you're saying now about these things are developing, and you go back to after the Georgia game where you were widely criticized, and people were saying the game had passed you by. You don't recruit out of the transfer portal. One guy criticized your offense for its racial makeup, didn't have a particular type of person.
I'm glad I don't read none of that.
Well,
or listen to it.
So my question
was that on your show, or was that you?
Not me, no. ACC. It was one of your ACC network guys. Anyway, or wrote it on.
I'm glad I don't listen to none of that.
On Twitter.
That's a different Roddy, just to let you know. That's not ACC Network. Yeah.
Right, white.
Right, white. So,
What's the question? I have no idea where you're going with this. I could care less what people say.
Yeah. So my question is, do you at this point kind of like want to stick it in?
No, man.
Listen. Look at us.
No, I could care less about any of that stuff. People say what they want to say. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't read any of it. I don't listen to it. I don't let any of that in my mind. I just focus on doing my job every day. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody, man. I'm just trying to love these guys here, man. I'm just trying to do my job and do what's best for Clemson day in and day out, put these guys in the best position to go win. Ain't worried about none of that stuff. People say whatever they want. I don't need validation from anybody. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I know where I've been, where I've come from, where I'm going. So none of that stuff affects me or bothers me at all. People say whatever. That's the world we have right now. We've created a society where it's just normal to attack people, destroy people, make stuff up, create narratives. That's just the society we live in. And so you have to choose as a person whether or not you're going to let that type of stuff affect you, or you just rise above it and focus on what you know and what matters. But I don't participate in any of that stuff, so that doesn't matter to me. I could care less. You know, I mean, you can go back and look at our national championship game in 2016. I guarantee you the first half of that game, there was probably a ton of negativity, a ton of awful things being said on social media, you know, because we're down 14-0 and all this stuff. And so it's like I tell my guys, it ain't about what people say, it's about what we do. And what we do is a reflection of what we believe. That's all that matters. That's really what it should matter for everybody. It's not about what you say, it's not about what they say, it's about what you do. And again, what you do is a reflection of what you believe, because what you believe, growth follows belief. You know, your belief is going to drive your habits, and you know, how you think, half full, half empty, you know, and you know, you know, you got to create a belief that's greater than your fear that you can't do something. Your belief that you can has to be greater than your fear that you can't. And if you participate in all that stuff and you let all that stuff and you live your life from the outside in, you ain't doing nothing great in life. Because you ain't going to take any risks, because you're afraid of criticism, you're afraid of this and that, you ain't going to have any convictions on anything, you got to please everybody, and oh gosh, don't say something bad about me, I better do this and that. That ain't no way to live life. But again, we've just created, that's just our society. It's sad. It's just okay. It's just, we've just made it normal. It's okay to just attack people, destroy people, or try to make stuff up, no accountability. Like when, you know, even in I mean, listen, when I was a young coach, I mean, sometimes a reporter, you know, beat writers, you know, something may be coming out, and, you know, back in those days, guys would call you, or they'd come up to you and say, hey, look, I'm fixing to run this story. I just want to make sure I got it right. And you had like a little bit of like some respect in that. Now, people just write stuff that they heard from their Aunt Jean at the grocery store. I heard, you know, my coach, Billy Tohill, he told me something when I was in high school. He said, I heard and they said are the two biggest liars in America. He taught me that early on. This is before social media. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's sad, and especially when you're dealing with young people. And just, you know, the way we have made it almost celebrated to attack people. And just, I mean, it's sad. I mean, it really is. And especially for the young people, because that's their world. That ain't my world. That's their world. And, you know, it is what it is. So, but the good news is everybody has a decision. Everybody has a choice on what you let into your world. You don't have to participate in that stuff. So that's why you got to build your life on a strong foundation and know what's real and what's not. But yeah, it's the first time I've heard that. I don't know. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. I'm trying to beat Stanford this week. That's all I care about. Trying to continue to have a great program and fulfill the purpose, you know, that we have as a program and what I have as a man.
Seems like y'all have faced a lot of pre-snap shifts and motions and stuff, particularly with NC State and Georgia. How do you think? What's the assessment of how y'all have handled, how the defense has handled that?
We've gotten better. We've gotten better. You know, we had the big bust in the first game on the fake jet, and we checked the defense, and then they just run switch verts and guys wide open, you know, because we don't have eyes on two. I mean, you know, it was a good, you know, because they were running the jet, and we were trying to, they out-leveraged us there. But that's we've gotten better. We got our first group's really gotten better. They got us on a wheel route the other day, and that was just a, you know, execution of the coverage technique and you know, eyes on the right spot. how we should adjust the coverage based on the release of the route concept. But they're doing a nice job. Again, I played a team this past week that creates a lot of problems. They create a lot of problems from that with their stretch and all the play action and the boots and the formational stuff that they do. And I mean, it's 59-14, into the fourth quarter. And again, it's 59-7, with our good guys out there. So I'd say they've gotten better and did a better job. We did, so just got to continue to teach and again, hopefully stay healthy in a couple of key spots.
You mentioned how Coach Riley kind of grown from last year to this year. Is coaching development kind of similar to player development where they won't put it together that first year and it takes time and repetition and consistency?
Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, we all develop. We all get better with experience. There's no greater teacher than experience, and doing life together. Especially when you're on a team in a team environment like we're in. There's no doubt we all grow. I grow every year, get better every year. And I think that's on everybody to do that. It's just a natural thing.
Dabo, we talk so much about Cade's confidence, and he's been experiencing such positive limelight these past 2 weeks. I guess, what do you know about him? What do you see every day in practice that lets you know that even though he's confident, he's got some swagger now, that doesn't go to his head?
Yeah, just keep doing the same things you've been doing. I mean, he's the same guy every day. He wasn't any different Monday after the Georgia game than he was this Monday after NC State. And that's the quality you want to see in your quarterback. You got to block out all the noise, whether it's bad or it's good. None of that stuff is good for you. Just lock in on and fall in love with the preparation, because that's what it takes. I mean, it's fun to win. Okay, can you go win again? That's what you gotta love. And understanding that. And I think he's got a good understanding. It's good for him what he went through last year and what he had to battle through, because the kid really hadn't had a lot of football adversity. I don't think he'd really had a lot of criticism. Kind of all gone perfect for him. And so he's got a good balance, and he understands that, it can turn just like that. Like I said, you could probably go back to the first half of our Alabama game and read all the social media. It was probably awful. We're the worst in the history of football. But by the end of the quarter, those same people are talking about how great you are. So none of that stuff matters. You just got to lock in on what you're doing, all right, and be committed to doing what it takes week in and week out. And he's got he's got a routine, and routines are very important on how you get yourself ready. But his spirit at practice every day, the way he comes to work, the way he's grown as a leader, it's fun. You're just seeing a transformation of a young player growing into a more mature, seasoned veteran. And it doesn't mean he's not going to make mistakes or make a stupid play. That's not reality. But you just want to continue to see the consistency develop, and that will come with the consistency in preparation. That will come. So, he's got a good feel for it, but, we just continue to keep the main thing. And today's Tuesday. We know what our Tuesday focus is. Let's go get after it today. And, just put your head down and go to work, put the work in. At the end of the season, you count them all up and you keep going.
Coach, there seems to be an up-tempo to the offense. Is that from Cade's confidence building, or is that designed to get him more confidence?
It's from success. Rhythm, it's really it. You can drive the tempo when you're creating rhythm in what you do, and you're mixing it up, and you're getting first downs. You've got confidence in and certainly confidence in what you're doing at quarterback. But the main thing is just we're playing with precision. We're playing explosive. We're running the football at a high level. And so when you've got all that working, you can really drive the tempo as you want. We did even a little huddle the other day. We kind of did a little bit of that. So, there's a lot of things you can do, but we certainly want to play fast when the opportunity presents itself.
What's your assessment of Kylon Griffon so far through 3 games?
Getting better. Struggled in the first game. He didn't struggle. He did everything he needed to do. He just missed some critical tackles in the first game, and but he's a steady player. Another young guy. He's a redshirt sophomore and got some good experience last year, and he's a kid that's really smart, understands how to play, and he's got good physical attributes. Really good athlete, and so just continuing to become a consistent finisher. Play in and play out. That's where we need him to continue to grow, and he's doing that.
Seems like Covil has been really active so far this year. What's your?
Yeah, it's been good to get him back. Obviously he got hurt last year, and he was actually going to start the game the week that he got hurt in practice. He was actually going to, so he was making good progress. So he's done a nice job. Obviously he can play safety, but we've been kind of rolling him in there at nickel a good bit. He and getting Shelton back last week was great as well, and getting him, continuing to ramp him up a little bit. He also got to play a little bit of corner, so that was good for him. But Covil's a guy he's just a good football player. He can run, he's physical. He's got some things he's got to improve on, but he's a guy that hasn't played a ton, so he's playing himself into a more consistent player.
It's early, but you said on your radio show last night you expect most of the offense back next year, minus 2 or 3 guys. Do you put Cade in that category based on just what you're feeling right now?
Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Yeah, he needs to just beat Stanford. Worry about all that stuff, but yeah, he's a junior. I don't expect. Those are always. You may have somebody that may just want to move on somewhere else. You never know. But just our anticipation and just where we are on paper. We know we're going to lose Marcus and Brenny and Phil, but outside of that, we expect everybody back. So got a chance to. We're building good momentum with this group, and more on the way. And same thing defensively. We've got a couple guys that'll probably have a decision to make, but we know we're going to lose RJ. We know we're going to lose Barrett. We know we're going to lose Peyton. And outside of that, we'll see.
I guess how much easier has it been to recruit now that those COVID years are pretty much out the door?
You talking about like with the 6-year stuff?
Obviously you have the house.
Well, it's just we've just all gotten used to it now, because what helped was the portal. Because guys had opportunities to move on and things like that. So, that actually kind of helped on some of the 6-year stuff, because, at least you pretty much knew. There's not many. We don't have many surprises in our program. We pretty much have a good feel for, what's going on and who's staying, who's leaving, all those type of stuff. But it's still out there. I guess this is the last year. Or maybe there's one more year. I think next year's the last year, I guess. We got some guys that could come back for a 6-year next year, or a 5th year based on if they played in 20 or a freshman or whatever. So it hadn't been a problem for us.
I think tight end Olsen Patt-Henry jumped to number 2 on your initial depth chart yesterday. What have we seen from him over the past 2 games?
He's just really playing well. He's all the. We really like our tight end room. We feel really good about the talent there and the development that we see coming with our guys. But he's playing really physical. He's really grown as a blocker, and just doing his job at a high level for us. So really pleased with him and Sap. Those 3 guys have kind of really given us a nice group. And then Marcus continues to come. Bentoncourt's a guy that we're super excited about. So we got a good group there.
What do you hope to see out of Sammy Brown over the next few weeks?
Just continue to grow and learn. Clean up some of the mistakes. He had some mistakes the other day. Should have been over the top. Should have fell back. Missed a tackle. Just some football stuff but he's playing fast. He, when he makes a mistake, he's full speed. Just continue. He created a winner. So that's the first step. He wasn't perfect, but he did create a winner. So just cleaning up some of the details, and that's the main thing. Just keep coming. Just keep growing. he's just a young, talented player that going to keep getting better and better, as he gets experience.
Coach, you mentioned the sellouts earlier. Is there any difference in the atmosphere in Death Valley from a night game to a midday game that you've noticed?
No. Noise is noise. Our fans are awesome, regardless of when we kick off. That's something I think that, we've won a lot of games. I think we lead the nation in winning percentage all the way back to 2011 or so. I think we're tied with Alabama, and that's we've had some good players, but our fans are a big part of that. They're no question. So whether we've played at noon, we've won some big games at noon, we've won big games at night, we've won big games at 3 o'clock. So I think our fans have grown accustomed to, just like I've tried to teach our team, it shouldn't matter where we play, what time we play, what we wear, what TV channel we're on, or what the weather is. Let's show up, and it's about how we play. And, that's something that has served us well over the years, just focusing on how we play the game. And I think our fans have bought into that. And, they've shown up. They've given us unbelievable support year in and year out. And to have the best home winning record in the country over the last 13 years, that's something we're really proud of. You can't be a great team if you don't win at home. Good teams win at home. Great teams can win on the road too. But it starts with being able to win at home. You got no chance to be a great team if you can't win at home. And so the environment that we have is second to none. The atmosphere, it's special. And our fans, they show up. They show up. A lot of them come a long way, and from pregame all the way, to gathering at the Paul. It's an awesome spirit here at Clemson.
With that said, you're going for your 100th win this week in the Valley. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Ross, we can thank Ross for that, letting me know that. That's pretty awesome. I thought last week was really cool to be a part of 800, and I didn't know this either until I looked at his. I was here for 600, 700, and 800. I was obviously the receiver coach at Win 600, and then was I the head coach at 700? I guess I was. Yeah, because that was like 12 or something, and then 800 to be a part of, that's pretty cool. But 100 home wins. I guess that's great. It just means I've been able to be here a long time, and we've been able to win at home a lot of games. So it's a blessing. A lot of great players, a lot of great coaches, and unbelievable fan support. All help make that happen.
What's your best memory of those 99 wins right
now? The first one against South Carolina. It wasn't my first home win, but it was. I probably don't get the job if we don't win that game in 08. So that was pretty. I won't never forget that one. I'll never probably 09. Winning on the kick there to send us to win our first division. That was pretty cool to be a part of, and beating in 11, I guess, when we had to. Nobody had ever won 3 ranked games, and schedule came out and we got Auburn, Florida State, and Virginia Tech, and beating Auburn and Florida State. That was kind of building momentum within that season. A bunch of great wins, man. Notre Dame obviously was the one you'll never forget in a hurricane in 2015. Had some great battles with Lamar Jackson that you just held your breath on every time he had the ball. So a lot of great moments over the years. Last year's Notre Dame game was really special, because you really saw the fight in our team and the heart of our team. They're all special, but I try to forget them bad ones. Unfortunately, you can't.
You've talked about Hoffler and Lawson flashing.
Yep.
It feels like they're complementary a little bit. Do you see them that way, and how would you assess their play in Peter's absence?
Yeah, they're growing. Jahiem is a kid that didn't show up here physically where he needed to be, and he's been putting the work in. He's a redshirt sophomore. His body's 250. He can really do everything we need him to do now. He couldn't early part of his career, and he had to really work. Hoffler showed up here physically looking the part, but just needed him, technically, scheme-wise to grow and develop. And he's doing that. He's playing fast. He's a physical kid. So they both can. He's a little longer than Jahiem, but they can both do what we need them to do. They can be good players for us. So we're really pleased with their development, and it's important to both of them. But they both got good motors. So it's a good situation. Armon's another kid that you see him play. He's never played. He was gonna play last year, and then tore his ACL in camp, and so he's never really played. And so he's a guy that, that's got some ability as well. That's same thing. He showed up here about, I don't know, maybe 200 pounds, and he's developed. He's a kid that's if he'll just keep coming, he just doesn't have much experience to lean on as a defensive end, and certainly not at this level. So we like our group. Those guys are creating some good depth for us, and get Peter back, and we feel good about those guys up front. Trey Williams is playing well for us. It's good. He's a kid. Those of you that are really familiar with him and his journey and all the time that he's missed, it's awesome to be able to see him, out there playing week in and week out, and being able to, make some plays like he's making. It's been really good.
Coach, with Trevor Lawrence struggling 0-3, Deshaun Watson 1-2 with your former quarterbacks, have you reached out to them or thought about reaching out for any encouragement in the NFL season?
I communicate with those guys, all the time, whether it's they're 1-2 or 3-0. They'll be fine. Those guys are good players. It's a team sport. They certainly know their roles. And long season. Don't cash the chips in yet. Just keep going.
Any questions for Coach virtually? Anybody else in the room?
Last time Stanford and Clemson played was 1986. What were you up to?
1986. December 1886. So that would have been my junior year of high school, because I graduated May of '88. Shout out, class of '88. So I graduated. Most of y'all weren't born, but I graduated May of '88. So yeah, December of '86 would have been my junior year. So December I was playing basketball for the mighty Pelham Panthers. I was knocking down some J's for the Panthers for Paul Kellogg, and having a ball doing it, and then roll right into baseball after that.
Is that like a Christmas tournament or something?
Yeah, we'd play the Big Orange Classic at Berry High School. It's now called Hoover High School, but it was called Berry. And so we'd play the Big Orange Classic every single year. But yeah, those were great times, man. December of '86, yeah, junior year. There's a lot going on in my young life at that time.
Anybody else forgot?
Last night on your radio show, you talked about the rev share coming. You thought that'd be a better situation for Clemson.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because we don't have to go raise the money. You don't have, it's because you can't share the money that you have right now. You got to go raise the money, and so that's hard. That's hard. So it's just it's going to be a way better situation for sure, and create more clarity for everybody because everybody's got the same amount of rev share. So that's going to be a real positive for us, because again we have the money, so we'll be able to legally share it, which will be great. It'll be great for us, be great for the players. It's going to be awesome.
How much clarity do you have at this point that you can actually share with recruits about what it's going to look like?
Not full clarity, because there's still some things. I think there's another meeting maybe this Thursday, but I think where we think it's heading, I think by December or earlier we'll have pretty good clarity, because once we know what the number is, then it's just kind of up to each school and how you divvy it up and share it. So that we'll certainly have clarity on that once we get some finality.
Talk about the fundraising fundraising piece right now being a challenge. Do you think that's specific to Clemson or just any school?
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's hard for everybody. Because again, you're going to the same donors, that support everything, and so it's because it's again the money's there, but you can't use it, so you got to go get more money for that, and it's hard for everybody. It's hard for everybody.
And just to clarify, you'd be willing to use it for recruiting purposes if the money's there?
You absolutely, you have to use it for recruiting purposes. There's no. I mean, it's like, that's the great thing about it is here's what you have to use it. You have to. If you don't use it, you're going to be in trouble. It's basically a part of the scholarship. Now, how you divide it up, that can change year to year based on your team. How veteran a team is, or how young your team is. So there's nobody that everybody uses it in recruiting. That's just the way it is. That's NIL's used in recruiting. Everything's used in recruiting.
How much has the conversation changed with families now, your recruiting conversations? How quickly do they get to the money part of the conversation?
Oh, it's just a part of the process. It's no different than it's ever been. It's just another part of the process.
If NIL is still around, what's to say that the more, I guess, flush schools out there won't still have some of the same advantages with separating themselves?
To be determined. I'd say to be determined. I think there's still probably some things to, be ironed out on that side of it. But I don't think it's ever going away. But I think you'll see a little bit more normalized NIL, once you get to the rev share. I think that will happen, but we'll see.
Anybody else for Coach? All right. Appreciate it, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.